This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Really good tempo I felt there.
Yeah, and I think all the emphasis was in the right places. You know, sometimes you find yourself going a bit Jeff Goldblum and emphasising things that other people don't emphasise. And I don't really know where we. And I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to steal JG's act.
I like the idea of strangest emphasis, people. May I throw into the ring Christopher Walken?
Oh, I think some actors, that's how they make themselves distinctive, is emphasising the different,
It's
different
that or a
things.
hat.
Well,
Yes.
I may have mentioned this before, but it can lead to a faux pas. My friend Neil once ate a meal at my house that my wife had cooked, and when he finished it, he said, "I'll make something nice next time." But what he meant was, "I'll make something nice next time."
Did he, though?
He just got his emphasis all wrong.
Did he, Al?
Yeah. No, he really did. He was very embarrassed at his lack of emphasis. He got it all wrong.
Anyway, don't forget this morning's text in. At what stage in history did sports people start getting disappointed?
Oh, yeah.
Because they used to be like, got in, or they used to say that was rubbish. But no, they don't say that was rubbish. They say you'll be disappointed with that. Or maybe you won't be disappointed with it. Maybe he's a person who's decided, yeah, it's great to be a professional sports person, but, you can worry too much about mistakes in life. Maybe that's it. So don't impose disappointment on people. Just say that was rubbish. Anyway, I'd be interested if anyone could come up with a date.
And they like to say in the press conference, Frank, so we fight on.
Did they say that?
I've heard that one a lot. It's quite Lampardian, that one.
I used to like Jurgen Klinsmann when he played for Spurs. If anyone asked him a question to which he had a positive response, he'd say, "Oh, for sure." And I started saying it, but I realised I think it's a translation of natürlich, which as sort of naturally, as the Germans say.
Frank,
the Germans.
Can I kick off with a little bit of praise, which is for you, but it's not related to this show, so I'm going to allow it.
Okay.
This is from Neil Moore. At my school, they taught...
Neil Moore is one of the slogans of the Roman Catholic Church.
I'm glad you chose that.
Yes, I've cleaned that one up a bit.
Yes.
Hey, Mother! Can you hear me, Mother? Carry on.
At my school, they taught #poetry like maths, more interested in the metre than the emotion.
Oh.
If only they had taught it with the passion, Frank, listen to this,
Oh, here we go.
and clarity of Frank on the Radio in his brilliant podcast series, Frank Skinner's Poetry Podcast, great accompaniment to a walk.
Wow, that is...
What do you think?
I think
that's amazing, Frank.
there's only one jingle that can be used with.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No, that's great. Thank you so much. I love it.
Wow.
I went to see a revelation of the Daleks this week at the British Film Institute. It's a lovely event,
No, I'm not kidding.
It's like a family party. It's just Doctor
Is
Who
it?
people gathered together.
When you say
Like
family...
baby Daleks and stuff.
You get things like interviews with Roger Lim from the Radiophonic Workshop.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry I missed it.
so I met Colin Baker, who was the sixth Doctor, and his companion Nicola Bryant. I was
Can I
very
ask a
excited.
question? Does a friend go with you to this? Do you
No.
Okay.
It's a sort of event where it's okay to go on your own.
I would say it's mandatory.
But I was excited to meet them. Colin asked me why I wasn't getting him on Room 101. And I had to go through the idea of that it was decommissioned about 5 years ago.
Did he say, I've had this problem with Frank Muir and call my bluff?
Well, he had the problem with Doctor Who, basically. That was given an 18-monther when he was doing it. So we shared decommissioned things. But I tell you, they made what I thought, and it was a brilliant event. And like I say, I was excited to meet them. I got them to sign my action figures, but my action figures were still in the box, so they signed the cellophane. So you look through their autographs at their images. I mean, pretty special. Am I adopting a strange facial expression now? You're looking unsettled.
I can't really give you direct eye contact at the moment.
I understand that.
I hope you understand.
Anyway, I thought they made a mistake, the organisers, which...
the makers?
Yeah, and
the
they
originators.
never make a mistake, but there was a thing which really caused a bit of a...
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Anyway, the thing that I thought was a bit like being at a family gathering and evil Uncle Charlie, who got arrested in 2012, turning up, was they had an interview.
What's my uncle doing there?
They had an interview with Michael Grade. Now, Michael Grade was the controller of BBC One who dropped Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his, actually.
So it began with them saying, there's a lot of water gone under the bridge and all that, and then clips of him talking in a very... there was no sort of, looking back, I made a mistake. There was none of that. Very nonchalant.
No mea culpa.
No, she wasn't there. They...
I bet the Whovians were... I bet there was was there a little bit of foie dieu descend?
Well, I thought I was a bit uncomfortable with it. And then I spoke to Colin Baker after. I said, what did you think of the Michael Gray? He said, I was absolutely outraged, which was great. And that's how I felt. I thought that was a bit of a slightly strange thing to do.
I suppose it's not like at football where if somebody signs for the enemy that the crowd and boo them on their return. Like, it wouldn't have been right to boo Michael Grade, would it?
I think it would have been all right. I'll tell you something about Michael Grade. I mean, I've met him a few times. He's a perfectly nice bloke, as long as you don't bring up the subject of Doctor Who. He's a very interesting, got great showbiz stories and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he's one of those blokes who... This would be a good texting, I think. Public figures who have adopted a certain clothing that they wear all the time.
Red braces.
Red braces and red socks is Michael Grade. And who's the guy who wears a white suit? He's a politician who always wore a white suit.
Yes, I know exactly who you mean.
Do you remember him?
His name is he's a Nicholas or a Tom.
Is he?
He's one of the two.
Not the guy that was a newsreader who
Yes.
became politician.
He became a politician and he wore a
Well, we didn't know it was a suit. We thought it was a jacket when he was a newsreader. Turned out he got up. It was a suit.
I think he's a Tim. I bet our readers will help us out. I feel he's a Tim. They normally are. John, Tim or
I
Nicholas.
thought he might be a Martin.
Oh!
Oh, yeah, it could be a Martin.
That's the most excited I've been in a decade.
It's like when Frank remembered Stylus.
Oh, that was a special day indeed. But just people who have bought into by wearing the same thing. I don't mean on stage and stuff. I mean in life.
I've got an answer for us.
Okay.
The white-suited, our man in Havana man was Ruth Jordan, who's
Ruth Jordan? No.
She's fast becoming one of our regulars.
Oh, yes.
One of my favourites.
The morning sun shone down upon the email of Ruth Jordan.
Ruth Jordan has the answer. Martin Bell.
Martin Bell. That rings up. Anyway, yes.
Very good.
Martin Bell. So anyone you can think of in... I listened to Radio 1 on the way in this morning and the DJ said, and today's texting, what's in your handbag today? And I thought,
really?
I'm overthinking. I'm overthinking the textings.
What's in your handbag?
Yeah. But I had to get out of the car before the responses started flooding in. But I thought what would be good. What do you carry with you at all times that's an unusual thing to carry?
Oh.
Look, I went out with a woman.
I've got some. Dog toothbrush.
Really?
Yeah.
All the time?
Well, I just forget to take it out.
And if you're going to itch your back... I went out with a woman who had a genuine security Linus from Charlie Brown security blanket, which she took everywhere.
Oh.
Huh?
You'll be disappointed with that.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, every now and again I come to this programme with questions for the readers, for Alan, and sometimes for Emily. Now, this week my question is for Emily.
Lovely.
It was my dog's birthday this week. Now, one could argue, of course, that a dog has no idea of chronology, so it's a waste of time. But we were quite keen to get.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, have you ever tried to get a dog to blow out a candle?
Oh.
It's almost... They don't really blow, dogs, do they?
No.
What do they do when they get hot food? But why don't dogs have the blowing capacity? You've never seen a dog go...
I could imagine some dogs could sort of drip a candle out with saliva. You know those sort of runny mouth dogs.
yeah.
No, I wouldn't have
There's a few
one of
those.
those. Wouldn't have one of those.
I wouldn't put my radio.
They look like a candle, their mouths.
Yeah.
But Buzz suggested like maybe tickling his nostrils with a feather, get a sneeze out of it, but we thought that was unkind.
Oh.
Anyway, in
Did
the
you get
end,
a cake then?
we didn't get a cake.
I love a dog cake.
We got a cuddly toy for the dog.
Oh, what sort of
Right.
cuddly toy?
Well, let's put it this way: it hasn't had much cuddling.
Right.
It's taken more the role of those dummies that they use for bayoneting practice in Dad's Army. You know when you see Dad's Army preparing for... the dog is horrible, like really. You know, they do that shaking thing like they do with their prey.
My dog does the
yeah.
shaking thing with
Yeah.
his. He has a Frankenstein monster doll.
Does he really?
Jonathan Ross gave it to him, yeah.
Couldn't it accidentally break a tooth on a bolt?
No, it's a plush toy.
Oh, it's plush.
Yeah.
A Frankenstein monster. I imagine bits could fly off that during shaking. I mean, they're only, only dangling by 19th century cotton.
I have a video of it, which I might put up.
Yeah, I think that'd be
My dog
good.
shaking his head at Frankenstein.
Yeah, I think that I'd like to see that, certainly. Yeah, so it's good. I like to use you guys as a resource. The other thing I wanted to ask, I remember Emily and decided against it,
Oh dear.
was really posh, expensive perfume. Does it taste nice? Because I remember from my early days of dating that if you happen to lick the neck of someone wearing cheap perfume, it was as bitter as it was so bitter.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I'm guessing that if you go for an expensive perfume, it tastes like bergamot.
delicious.
Lovely.
Well, you are absolutely correct because
Am I?
Well, you're correct that bergamot is used in a lot of high-end fragrances, and if a fragrance is used with formaldehyde,
Right.
Am I getting a bit technical here?
No, isn't that what Damien Hirst puts animals in?
Yes.
Well, it's not. I think it's aldehyde. It's called. I think it's a different form of it.
Okay.
But if, for example,
It's not Rawhide, the 1960s Western TV
aldehydes.
series.
It's
Okay.
aldehydes. Let's call it. So if a Chanel perfume contains a lot of aldehydes, which are chemical. I mean, it's getting a bit technical now. I think Chanel, I don't want to advise anyone to do this, but I suspect Chanel would taste nicer.
Okay.
Then maybe, do you want to name an example?
Well, I mean, Charlie.
High karate.
Yeah, exactly. No, not high karate, I don't think. But that was, I don't know if people even lick necks anymore. It's probably an old-fashioned ritual.
You're an old-fashioned guy.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't licked a
Neck
neck.
licker.
Oh, God. I haven't licked a neck since I ate a raw chicken for a bet. But, no, it really tasted... I can't tell you how bad it tasted, perfume. Yockety yock.
Oh dear.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've just heard from King of the Giants. You've been asking...
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh, who is the king of the giants?
It was me.
It's a tough question.
King of the Giants says,
Yeah.
re unusual item. You know, you were asking...
But I
You
think
could have
the thing
stolen
that you
the text in
like
from
I
the-
always have a Vic inhaler with me at all times.
Do you?
Yeah. You know, the ones you actually stick up your nose.
I know. I'm just finding that very alluring.
I used to do one. I had one, the label had come off, so it was completely white. And I used to do.
It's even more alluring.
I used to do a prop joke where I stuck it in one nostril. And then I said, this is my elephant impression. So I'd stick it in one nostril and say, oh, God, here come those ivory hunters again. And I had to stop doing it because I think it fell into political disuse. But anyway, what does the King of the Giants carry?
Can I just say that is so you? Because when you were on my podcast, we were walking along and you suddenly produced a pipe from your pocket.
Doesn't really work on an audio.
No, but you did it because...
I did it for you, man.
I know you sort of really wanted to make this joke, and I remember as I left that day, I thought, it's so amazing that he thought, I'll put that pipe in my pocket and then I can use it for a joke.
No, I think that's...
I love it.
Buzz does it now. He carries props for gags.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway,
King of the Giants, unusual item, a Mont Blanc pen.
Mont Blanc.
Most people have access to a pen, but a Mont Blanc is unusual. I'm sure Miss M agrees. Frank Skinner, any thoughts on that?
Well, when you did the Parkinson show, you get a Mont Blanc pen with Parkinson embellished.
Well, he stuck with the pen theme, hasn't he?
I know he loves a pen.
Yeah.
If he's not giving them to the elderly, he's giving... Well, actually, still another example of him giving them to the elderly, the fact that I got one. But yeah, it was... I don't know where it is, me Mont Blanc Parkinson. I must check it out. But it was... I love anything free. I love so much. I can't tell you. The thrill of it. You know, it's better than getting money for stuff. Is to get that kind of gift. I'd have really settled into the barter system, I think.
Yeah.
Is it the barter system when you exchange goods? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at a swap shop.
Yes, exactly. It's like a multicoloured swap shop, but, you know, in order to live. Yeah.
What's happened to Noel Edmonds? Have you heard from him recently?
No, I haven't seen him since I saw him carrying a holdall across the car park in the flats I lived in at about 6 in the morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I think he was staying on a mate's sofa because he'd had some sort of... he'd had a falling out with someone. It was a long time ago.
Absolute Radio.
I think, yeah.
That's good gossip, if nothing else.
He was just shouting at the moon, I'll have a new car and... And I wouldn't mind a Mars bar if you could get one to me quickly.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've had an email. Sorry.
No.
I'll continue, though. I think you'll be interested. It's an email entitled Dog Blowing Candles. So it's something that you've near enough asked for.
I hope this is...
in your own way.
I hope this is clean.
Dear Frank, I taught my dog Billy to bark on command, and they put in brackets, speak, with an exclamation mark. So that's
okay.
Obviously, that's the command. I hope Billy isn't listening now and barking as I did that. And managed to get him to bark out a candle on his birthday a few years ago. So it can be done. That's
I hadn't thought of barking as because I can make our dog bark fairly easily, I think.
Well, there you go. Next year's birthday.
Oh, I've got I remember
that's
that.
tradition,
I remember. You're my age, you can't be planning a year ahead.
Yeah, you could start the practice now, though.
Yeah, maybe we can start working at it.
Some people have very big celebrations. Some people throw parties for the
dog.
For the dog, yeah. I mean,
Too much money.
It's difficult with the dog parties because how do you know whether the dog really likes those people?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have any say, these people coming in.
Food, you're safe with food. I got the dog a new collar because there isn't much you can get a dog in the way of outfits. Don't contradict me on this, Em. But obviously the dog, what's the dog think? Nothing. They don't think.
I know, but all the same, a new collar. I mean, come on, mate. It's very practical, that.
I tell you what, I've been doing with the dog is that I stop. There's a drinking fountain near me. I love a drinking fountain. Whenever I use a drinking fountain, I feel like I'm at the Great Exhibition in 1851. Feels like a contraption.
Yeah.
And when I drink from the drinking fountain, the dog drinks from the sort of drainage area underneath. It's a lovely communal thing. And it reminds me of... my mum told me many years ago not to drink directly from the tap in the kitchen, to fill a cup and drink water out of
You need
that.
to be told that.
Yeah, well, look, I don't want to get too dark on this, but when you you're a heavy drinker, often in the morning your hands are shaking so much you wouldn't risk a crystal glass. So you drink straight out the tap. But my mum used to say that sometimes slugs come out of the cold water tap, and if you're drinking, you'd see that in the cup, but if you're drinking direct, you'd just consume it.
That's not true, is it?
Yeah.
I believed it for years, and I was casually talking to someone, like an intelligent person, probably a couple of years back. And I said, well, there's that thing, isn't there, with... Because they were on about these boiling taps and that. And I said, there's that thing when sometimes slugs come direct. So what are you talking about? I said, and I realised I'd just accepted that my mum was speaking factually, that sometimes slugs come out the cold tap.
Where's the worst place you found a slug? Mine is under a Dalmatian's mouth area.
You sure a spot hadn't dropped off? I slept next to a railway line once whilst drunk and went to the pub the next day, and I had a waistcoat on. And you know those front pockets where you put your thumb? I reached in there and there was a slug.
This story's grim.
Yeah. Anyway, what have you believed? What have you believed for a long period of time and then discovered? I don't want any atheists on. Just anything you believe that you always thought was correct.
Apostates.
I'll give you. Have I got time for one more very quick? No, I haven't. I'll give you. There's a musical one which I'll tell you after this, which I only discovered recently.
Oh, I wish we could hear it now.
It's Muppet based.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Anyway, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Sorry, I felt I mumbled those. Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Okay.
Well done.
Thanks. I enjoyed it.
You've got several radio texting plates spinning, if I may put it like that.
I think I left a slight cliffhanger as well. Something that I believed.
You did?
Something I believed for years and only recently discovered wasn't true. Robin, the nephew of Kermit the Frog. You know, Robin had a hit single.
Yes.
And
I never thought he quite worked, if we're going to be brutally honest. But anyway.
And only recently, my son, this is how I discovered it. My son said, I did a painting of Robin. And I said, why didn't you do Kermit? You know, go to the source. He said, the green I had was a bit too dark for Kermit. And I said, what are you talking about? They're exactly the same. They're probably cut from the same felt. And then when I looked it up, Robin is distinctly darker. He's sort of olive green compared to Kermit. Who knew?
Oh.
So anyway, I was utterly convinced that the song is called Halfway Up the Stairs. Halfway up the stairs is the stair where I sit. Right? It's actually called Halfway Down the Stairs. And it's only in the second verse that he says halfway up the stairs. It's a development on down the up.
Yeah. So it's really subtle. I like the way they've done that.
But I was certain it was called Halfway Up the Stairs.
Can I just ask you something? Robin is the nephew.
Yeah.
So it's a bit Davros-like with Kermit. We don't see the interior life of the man.
Well, I think the idea is he left, didn't he, to get to pursue show business. So it's amazing that Robin's turned up, really. But I'm imagining there's a
Well, it's not
whole
amazing.
family.
If someone does well in the family, I think you'll find the relatives will come running.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Sid in Ice Age, I think it was Ice Age 3 or something before we met his relatives, and they were cynical opportunists. I felt for him.
I'm not saying it's a searing indictment on my own career, but my family are fleeing rather than coming out of the woodwork towards me.
Oh, talk to me about it.
Oh, come on. So what have we heard from? Do you want the Outside World jingle?
If you like.
Outside world, whoa, the outside world. Oh, and smell the rum.
Well, one of the least palatable textings that we've got going is where's the strangest place you've ever found a slug?
Yeah. Can I say it? Radio 1 texting this morning, what's in your handbag? Maybe we could combine these two.
Maybe a crossover, yeah. 392 has texted, "Hi team, I once found a slug fast asleep in my ear the next morning whilst on exercises with the army. I thought one ear felt warm." That's from Jorky.
Lagging. That was lagging.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like I
man.
say, it's a weird texting, and quite a lot of it is stuff like that.
I'm glad it ended with whilst on exercises.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar story to me sleeping next to the railway. I wonder if slugs then seek warmth in the night. I suppose we all do. Yeah, but they don't like the salt. That's all I know about them. That's my slug knowledge out there.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, outside worldy?
Yes. We've had some more tweets, haven't we? I do apologise. Texts.
We have. I'm just going to step away from slug texts, and 704 has texted with what I think is a good joke.
Yep.
Surely you take a companion to a Doctor Who film screening.
Very good, but there's already one there, so that was it.
That's from Rabbits, they say.
It should have called it a slug fest, which is what they call a baseball game when there's lots of home runs.
I was thinking pugilism, like slugfest, when people are, belting each other.
Oh, I think it refers to baseball if there's a lot of big hitting, but
Yeah.
I've been wrong before. Twice, I think. Actually, twice.
Work.
Ultra Magnus wants to know, was Frank able to buy the dog collar with his S&M community loyalty card?
Yeah, I should have given him one of my old ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stink.
Colette.
Again,
Sorry, Al.
Again, avoiding the slugs, we've had 222 text. Morning, Frank. I'm sure you are not responsible for admin, but I'm listening through the Absolute Radio app, and at 8 and 9 a.m, the lady has helpfully given me tomorrow's weather. Do you think your people could have a word and see if she might tell us what the weather is like today, as I'm going out with the dog later?
But I mean,
Phrase redacted, of course.
The whole notion of forecast is to look into the future, isn't it?
It's gone too far, though, hasn't it? It's gone too far.
I've been thinking
this afternoon, and you're getting tomorrow.
I've been thinking about this because my son is playing George Merriweather in a school play about the Victorians. George Merriweather being the inventor of the tempest prognosticator, one of the first weather predictors, which didn't have slugs but did have leeches. And the idea was, if there was damp in the air, they're in these jars. The slugs think, oh, it's raining. We better get out of these jars, or we're going to drown. So they climb to the top, and a bell rings, and so that tells you when it's going to rain. Very clever.
That's clever, isn't it?
Can I tell you a sweet story about George Merriweather?
Please do.
He assembled these jars, see-through jars, in a circle so the slugs could see each other, because he said he didn't want them to experience solitary confinement.
I think that's very decent of him.
You know, not slugs, leeches, by the way. Sorry, we're getting slugs and leeches mixed up. You never hear of a leeches fest.
Yeah, how do you like it?
What else?
We've had some other... Well, we've had a few other people getting in touch telling us what they're carrying with them.
Okay.
David Martin, he says an ice cream scoop.
What, he always carries an ice cream scoop?
I don't know if he's saying he always carries or is it in his bag at the moment.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Is he?
I think I might have to see some proof.
Is he a shoplifter in ice cream parlours? Just lean over the perspex and take one out.
I always wanted one of those when I was a child. Did you?
Do ice cream scoops have the guillotine blade like mashed potato scoops at school? When he used to press the thing and it would come round. And...
Do you know that's what lovely action that?
Oh, it's a great invention. That should have been at the
delicious
exhibition.
food stuff as well.
What, mashed potato? Mashed potato, ice cream. I'm happy with all that. I'd eat both together.
I'm really glad we know that.
Pardon?
I'm really glad we know that now.
Good. I'm here to share knowledge. That's one of my jobs on this show. What's in your handbag?
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Can I share with you this from Paul? Just Paul. I don't know if he's connected with the Bakers.
Okay.
But you were asking people what they had in their handbag at this point. Or, it doesn't have to be an actual Queen's handbag, what they carry with them.
The Radio 1 text in this morning was, what's in your handbag?
Yeah.
Mine was, is there a thing which you carry with you all the time which we might be surprised by? I don't mean like, my keys. I mean something you think, why would you carry that all the time?
Yeah.
Well, I like Paul. I think Paul sounds like he could be part of the gang.
Okay.
I've carried this cutting from our local newspaper.
That is the sort of thing I'm after.
In every wallet I've had for the past 25 years.
Wow. If it's wallet transfer status, I mean, that's what we're after.
Here it is. It's a small ad. In the days when one would find these things more commonly, the sort of buy and sell thing, camping equipment, it says, as a little subheading. Camping gas stove, gas, G-A-Z.
Right.
Twin burners, plus gas bottle. Previous owner, Vic Wilson, manager of world-famous heavy metal rock group Rush. £12.
Oh, it's got everything. It's got celebrity. It's got the idea that you might pay a bit extra because it was owned by Vic Wilson. I'm very...
What, manager of world-famous heavy metal rock group Rush?
They were big Rush. I'm not... That's one aspect of it I'm not questioning.
Paul, you're in.
It's great. I wonder how many times... Remember I used to say to you, if ever conversation flagged, I used to start talking about the Bermuda Triangle. I reckon Paul has got this. The way people do with their phones now.
Yeah.
Whenever Paul's hit a bit of dead air, he said, I'll show you something. And he's got out the old Vic Wilson.
What I like is the idea of Vic Wilson, guys, sitting there. Do you think maybe he chatted to his wife or a colleague and said, what do you think? I mean, is it over-egging the pudding?
Yeah, should I mention me or shall I actually just put it out? No, say, no, you get another £2. Put your name on it. It's the difference between a tenner and 12 feet. Pardon? I said it's a different... His hearing's gone, Vic, because of all that work with Rosh.
And then I reckon maybe a friend might have pointed out, the problem is world famous.
Well, Rosh are world famous.
Yeah, but if you have to point that out, there is a problem with that.
You could just say Rosh, yeah. It's like whenever I see... I read a thing recently about Jack Thorne, my brother-in-law, and it said in that his family includes his girlfriend's sister and her partner, the comedian Frank Skinner. And I thought, here we are. I have to come now with a footnote to explain who the hell I am. Oh, sigh.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
This is still Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. We had from Paul there a thing about he used to carry a newspaper clipping in his wallet. For years, I carried a business card I'd been given, and sadly, I can't remember the name of the lady who gave it me, but it was something like Sheila Hadfield, and it said Sheila Hadfield, Miss UK 1958, and then it said friend of the craze. I thought, wow, what a business card that is.
I love it. Well, similarly, I had Nigel Farage's business card for many years.
Oh, did you? What's his bill matter? What does he say under Nigel Farage?
I can't remember. I'll have to get it out. It's in here. I think
He might not. Not everyone has one. Yeah.
I think it was just. It was definitely raised.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. He went for the raised and embossed.
Wow. So it would be
I think
possible.
it was quite simple. It said something like, I don't remember what it said, but it had the mobile on it.
I might ask him if he'll send me one so I can do a brass robbing of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If he's gone embossed. Does Bruce Springsteen get things embossed by having his name on them? Oh, love it.
Oh, boys, I need to talk to you about the Tower of London. Okay?
Okay.
Oh,
I get alerts through.
this is one of our late reviews.
I get all the medieval fortress updates through on my phone. Have you heard about the moat they're planning in the Tower of London?
Oh,
They're doing this as part of the Jubilee celebrations.
yes.
Platinum, is it, dear?
It's platinum, yeah.
Lovely.
It's gone platinum. Big
The Queen's
sales.
gone platinum.
The Queen's finally gone platinum. God bless her.
Yeah.
God bless her.
A bit like world-famous heavy metal rock group Rush. No doubt they went
What's that?
platinum.
There's a gold... Death Television, which is basically adverts on daytime, which is all about death, paying for your funeral and all that. But they also advertise ceremonial gold coins. And they had one for the Queen's platinum. And the slogan on it is something like unbreakable dutifulness or something like that. It's a really grand...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get it on a T-shirt.
I like that.
I've got most stuff on a T-shirt over the years.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, so the idea with this is that because they did a brilliant thing for Poppy Day. Do you remember that? All those ceramic poppies.
Oh,
I went
yeah.
to see that. It looked, gobsmacking.
Yeah.
But this time they're going to have a big slide, which I doubt the Queen will be using.
Oh, I hope. Lost
That
to the
would
summer
be worth
wine.
watching.
I remember they had a slide at Tate Modern, a big slide, like a big tube that you went down. So I went on it, and you got like elbow pads and a protective cap. And I went down it, and I started rattling. Oh, it was terrifying. My hat came off. When I got to the bottom, I landed in a lump. And I could see through the see-through tube. My hat was still... Someone would come down and then land on my hat as a sort of break. Oh, it's a really undignified...
What
terrible.
items have you lost on? I'd like to throw my hat in the ring.
Well, it wasn't my hat. It was a protective
That was the
hat.
promotion.
That was my protective hat.
Yeah, it had one job.
Yeah, exactly, and it didn't stay on. Like when Buzz was a baby, I say about 6 months, we put him on a slide for the first time. I was at the top and Kath was at the bottom, and I let him go, and all the way down his head went, started just bang in front, and he was crying. Wah!
Oh, no.
And you're on a slide. There's nothing. You have to wait till the bottom. It was terrifying. I don't know what long-term damage we did, but bad parents. Bad parents. I can still hear it.
Oh, Frank, please don't say that.
Oh, man. Anyway, slides through the ages.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
The Tower of London slide,
Yes.
well, it's the moat. So the moat's going to be filled with flowers, apparently, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like an extreme sport for people with hay fever. You go down the slide into a mass of flowers.
20 million quid's worth, can I say?
£20 million worth of flowers.
That's not possible. There isn't 20 million quid worth of flowers in the world.
Oh, excuse me, have you been to Elton John's house?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Well, can I just say, best response ever.
As a spectator, I really enjoyed that interaction, guys. Good fun.
I was very proud of him.
It would have been great if they had that slide in the days of the executions at the Tower of London. Now, the idea that you could just come straight in onto the block out the slide.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I mean...
So the bloke's right there with the axe to try and get you in midair.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, everyone.
Come on. Frank.
Maybe I've got a gloomy outlook on the
No.
Wow. No.
I take that back.
I'm not sure this is the time in life to repurpose a moat. I think keep it as a moat. Get some water in there and have the
Putrid
potential
open sewer.
security.
Yeah, get the Queen,
Yeah,
get the Queen back at the Tower of London.
I like the days when
why
it was a
not?
putrid open sewer, and I
Yeah.
do remember them.
Good times.
Still some brilliant stuff at the Tower there.
What, beef eaters?
Yeah, the St Thomas More cell where he was kept.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
When you say brilliant,
Oh, I thought it was brilliant.
I didn't imagine a review with 5 stars. Brilliant stuff.
Who's the
Exhilarating.
bloke who was? He was in prison there, and he had been.
The bloke.
Yeah, I think he'd been a champion of Mary Queen of Scots, and he got in prison there.
Oh,
and he
okay.
wrote on the wall about not
Yes.
trusting anyone because he'd been. And it's like graffiti that goes on, and it's carved into the wall. You can tell he was in there for a while, but it's still there. Brilliant.
I like him. He sounds like an OG bit of a git.
Well, I think he's a bloke who thought, I'm going to be remembered with this.
When he has been.
Tremendous.
I do find my problem with this slide is I worry about potential problems from poor behavioural choices of
okay.
people descending on the slide. I see stag parties and hens.
Naked people. Very tempting.
I just see some bad behaviour.
Could you do a slide naked? Would you just keep gripping?
I've never never liked. I loathe slides.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the tubular style now, aren't we?
Yeah, those. Oh, I'm talking. Well, any sort of
Tubular
slide.
slides.
I'm talking about the old shop. Remember in the old shops where they used to put a message in a little container and then send it down a big long slide?
That's
it's
a
like
shoot.
that.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
shoot.
Oh, I think this is a
That is
shoot.
a shoot.
Well, I don't
No,
think.
I think this is a slide.
Has it not got a top on it?
I don't think it's got a top on
Oh,
it.
I thought it was tubular.
I don't think it's a shoot, Frank. That's
okay,
for rubbish.
I think it's more platformy.
Is there an element of flume? Is there any flume
I don't think
aspects
so.
to
I don't
it?
think we've got any flume.
Oh man, I can't
It's
get
like
my head
it's
around
become
it.
like Guess Who, but for slides.
I thought it was like when you see builders working in an upper floor on the house, and they have those things that go straight into the skip. You know those big tubes.
Yeah.
Scaffolding.
Yeah.
No, I'm on about there's like a big tube they have that they
Alright.
put stuff down.
Alright.
Not scaffolding.
Full on response.
If people
Sorry
start
for
putting
having
up
the wrong picture
scaffolding,
in my head.
Oh,
if they start putting up scaffolding at the tower, the Queen will get a bit nervous.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215.
Yeah.
Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
think about this slide in the Tower of London.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yes, we're
do the
still on the
beef
slide.
eaters, who j'adore, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
do they get any say in this? This is their home, and they're going to have
Oh, what?
slide falls, ruin it,
Also,
interrupting.
I think it would be quite watchable to see them arrive to work by slides. With their
Yeah.
hats have a strap, I believe, so they're prepared for it.
There you
I
go,
know, but
Frank.
what
Sounds
if-
up your straws.
What if they snagged the garter? That'd be terrible. I had a bad situation with a beef eater. Do you remember that? When I went to St Thomas More's cell, he said, "Does anyone have any questions?" And I said, "Yeah." When he told us that they took away Thomas More's writing and reading materials.
Right.
I said, "How long was he left without any writing or reading materials?" He said, "Oh, I don't know." And then he just put the light off in the place, and we all had to file out. I mean, it was really rude. Nasty beefeater.
They can be a bit tricky, but they don't. I don't understand. What is their exact relationship to the raven? Are they the sort of? Is it a sort of Bill Sykes and Bullseye?
Well, the idea is if the ravens leave the tower, then I think England will fall. Is the thing,
dear.
but I think the beefeaters could go.
May I remind you is why it might need a moat. If England's going to fall, I want a line of defence.
It's not going to stop a raven leaving, is it?
No, but a raven. They have sacked ravens in the past.
Have they?
Yeah, they can be sacked for its conduct unbecoming.
Oh, okay.
Of a raven.
Wow.
Yeah. If they start acting like a crow, then
What
they're
is
out of there.
unbecoming
It's a fine
conduct
line.
for a raven?
Yeah. If it got COVID-19. I mean, come on, everyone! Applaud at home. Those of you who
They
got
are.
it. Yes, you,
They
Steve.
are.
Those of you who get it.
Yeah, there won't be that many, will there?
Or the elite few.
So that
It's
these,
that hard to get your COVID-19 joke.
so these flowers, they're from Sheffield University,
Are they?
and there's 29 different species, and it says they've planned it so that they all bloom. There'll always be some blooming. That's how they've planned them out. They've said it took a lot of precision planning to do. And I thought, isn't it just like making sure that the spuds and the chicken are cooked at the same time? It's not that difficult, is it?
It's not.
But on a large scale, yeah.
And there's no one in London who can do it. They've had to go to Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Dave, they want us to do some flowers. I don't know when they bloom. How do I know? Leave someone up north will know. By the way, bet sensibly.
That was Frank's very nuanced
Yeah, exactly.
attempt at Cockney there.
Cockney horticulturalists there on Absolute Radio.
Pearly King and Queen.
Oh, I love a pearly king and queen.
Well, you say that, but when was the last time you saw an IRL?
No,
they don't really.
I think they're still out there.
Are they?
Yeah.
I haven't seen one for a long time.
It was a pun, wasn't it? Because weren't they from
Careful.
Purley? I think they're from Purley, the area, but they wear pearl buttons. So the Pearly Kings is a kind of a... no one loves a pun more than...
Yeah, but what's the vowels are all messed up?
What, Purley?
Yeah, why have they changed? Are you sure that's right?
I'm not certain, no.
I mean, I like it. I'm happy to believe it.
I mean, when's the last time I did Wikipedia Pearly Kings and Queens? It's going back a bit. There is an area of London called Purley. You'll back me up.
Oh,
on
that's
that.
true.
No, but where's that? Very south.
Yeah. Well, they're always from the south. These
EastEnders.
Cockney subcultures. You don't get them up north. Let's face it. Not north of the river. Anyone knows what the Pearly Kings are called? Pearly Kings and Queens are called the Pearly Kings and Queens.
And why do they have pearls sewn on their clothes?
Well, I think they're from Purley originally, and it's a pun on that.
Oh, really?
But I could
Sounds believable, that to me.
Yeah, I like it even as a lie.
I like
it's good.
it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I
There
like
are some lies that are just rubbish, but I think even if that's a lie, I'm quite pleased with it. Its feasibility is exciting to me.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Do you know when friends show you things on their phone and they say,
Yes.
"Oh, look at this"?
You know then that you're letting them down on the conversation front.
Well, it's normally dogs or, "Oh, this was funny. Oh, look at this meme." Do you want to know what Frank Skinner just showed me on his phone?
It was the Tempest Prognosticator, which is a Victorian machine for predicting the weather. I mentioned it earlier. It's leech fueled.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you showed me that.
It's a beautiful thing. There are certain things that you see in the Science Museum that you feel should be in the art gallery. At Birmingham Science Museum, there was a bottling machine that put the tops on bottles. And I always thought that was a work of art. Anyway.
We have some news, don't we, Al, regarding
I heart news.
the Pearly Kings and Queens.
Oh, the Pearly Kings and Queens, yes.
Al, do you want to do the honours?
Yes, I'm happy to. 905 has texted, the Pearly Kings and Queens weren't from Pearly. Sad face.
Ow. Ouch.
It started with a man called Henry Croft who used to sew pearl buttons to his clothes and collect money for charity, and he was then known as the Pearly King.
Okay.
That's from Kit. Slightly disappointed.
Yeah.
To find out that it's not Pearly.
It's not as good as my lie.
Well, slightly disappointed. The thing Frank just completely made up.
Yeah.
Happens to have no truth.
Well, I got the pearl buttons right. But yeah.
Speaking of things that are made up, you asked earlier what you were told that you believed. Do you remember that? You
Yes, it was.
That's one of the texts.
Slugs coming down the cold water tap was the basis for it.
Another EG might be that years ago we were walking along the street and my wife and I passed a heavily tattooed man who had just a singlet on, and it was quite a cold day. And I said, he hasn't got much on. And she said, tattoos keep you warm. And she was joking, but I believed it for ages, not realising that she was joking, because it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Loads of tattooed people don't wear a shirt. So
I suppose it is a very thin cover to your skin.
156 has texted, Frank, re what you were told you believed. My dad from the Black Country used to wear a trilby hat. He told me it was previously Uncle Al's, otherwise known as Al Capone, the notorious Chicago gangster.
Famous for his Black Country roots.
Well, that's what Matt continues. I was 15 before I realised Uncle Al probably wasn't really a relative of my dad's.
Don't you start with me, Elliot Ness. Hey, before I get me Tommy gun out.
You bring a gun for.
Come round here if you've got a mind to. Yes, Al Capone there, like authentic Al Capone.
Blinders.
434.
Yeah.
Hi. When my border collie, we're talking about dog birthday parties.
Yeah.
When my border collie Flynn was 13.
It's a border collie one that's not quite a collie. Is that the idea?
Border collie
it's
is
like borderline.
I may be incorrect, but I see them as the sort of sheepdog, the black and white.
Oh, those ones like Black Bob from the Dandy.
Is it Kumbai? I think they're Kumbai.
Oh yeah.
I may be wrong.
Come here.
When my border collie Flynn, very intelligent, the border collie, was 13, we had a teenage barbecue for him.
Oh, a teenage. Oh.
We had a gazebo up and teenager banners. We invited other dogs.
Wow.
And they played Pass the Parcel. I'm afraid there was a fight.
The dogs would never passed anything in their life apart from foul odours.
Well, as Julie has explained, I'm afraid there was a fight whilst playing the games. But I feel a good time was had by all. Teenage dog party.
God, it's a sort of a...
They could play Teenage Dirtbag. Lovely.
For a sheepdog, it's a sort of a bar mitzvah.
Oh.
That was quite hard work. I don't know if it's worth the effort in the end. But, you know, I'll keep throwing them out there. That's how I operate.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We have a few.
It might put off people who are a bit travel sick, hadn't it? Oh, God, I can't face that.
Good point.
Yeah.
Sorry, outside world.
Yeah, we have a few things because we've got a few things running.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? As my niece said to me when she was about 7, look, I've got a lot on.
Yeah, well, sometimes I set up a texting and no one replies at all to it.
They are very niche, though, sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm fine with it, but it's lovely when they do, because it makes me feel...
Sometimes they have a more wide appeal, if I can be blunt with you.
Yeah, well, interesting places you found a slog. That's every man.
I think that's very wide appeal, as is things that you were told that you then believed that turned out not to be true.
Yeah.
I have a good example of that. Someone listening from Germany, Jackie in sunny but freezing Hamburg, has said, when I was little, my parents always got annoyed with my brother and me trying to kill each other in the car. My mum told me at a motorway service station that the baby's changing room was where parents could change their child for a better behaviour.
That's a good... that's clever.
I believed it for years, and she adds 3 exclamation marks to that, so I believe it.
Well, another piece of my mum's thing was that if you swallow chewing gum, it bongs your insides up, and I still would never swallow chewing gum, even though I know that isn't true. I'd still always spit chewing gum out.
It's probably for the best anyway.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it'd be a positive thing that would add to your life to swallow it.
No, I don't know much about the substance.
We
of,
weren't allowed chewing gum.
No. Does it contain gum arabic? That's what I'd like to
Do you know
discover.
why we aren't allowed it? Because my father thought it was too American.
I can imagine
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, he didn't like it.
I knew a guy who the idea of English people in baseball caps really annoyed him because he said that was an American thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we all have to relax these things a bit, don't we?
I think so.
I wear a full Uncle Sam outfit sometimes.
Do you?
No, I don't. I don't do that. That would be ridiculous.
I would believe it of you.
Okay.
Well,
Alfresco Mond.
we've had some other ones. It turns out, people's parents, quite strange.
Well, you know what Philip Larkin said.
891 was told by his father, I think a few people have said this, that if they didn't step on the escalator step correctly, and if they stepped on the gap, they'd be dragged under.
Yes.
It took me a while to realise that was just a witty little prank.
I don't know. I'm not 100 that couldn't happen.
Oh, come on.
Good use of 100, though.
There is a moment where the step disappears into the grid, like when it becomes like a knit comb, what I think of as a knit comb type arrangement.
You'd need tiny feet to get stuck in that.
Well, flat feet. If you had flippers on, you'd be playing with fire.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like
escalator.
Shrek, for example.
Yeah. Or very long. You know those people in the Guinness Book of Records with nails sort of... they go into coil. They coil into a thing.
That's like our producer's got those.
She's got very long nails.
Lovely
How she
nails.
operates the keyboard is a mystery
Lovely, those nails.
to me. I would have thought her hands... Her nails are so long that her hands are blocking her view of the screen.
I like
she's
it. I like it when I see her with food. It's like a raccoon.
Yes, and I love a raccoon eating as a just a thing to watch, just to relax. Sometimes I'll go on YouTube.
Oh, Frank, that's on my algorithm. I watch those all the time, those videos.
Raccoon Gnaw, GNAW.
Have you seen, sorry everyone, but have you seen the raccoon eating the grapes?
No, I like them gnawing. Do you know what I mean?
Give the grapes a go.
Well, I don't know. I feel soft fruit might bring the whole thing down like a house of cards.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
511 has texted with things that people believed. My husband's mother told him when he was a child that he was allergic to all animal hair. It wasn't until he was 25 that he stayed with a friend with a dog and reported to his mum that he hadn't had any ill effects, at which point she told him she'd made it up to avoid any discussion about getting a pet.
Oh. This is
find
the
that
thing.
really funny.
This is the thing with these, is how long you stick with them unquestioned.
That's really tickled me.
Yes.
Work, though, obviously.
We're
Yeah,
having
Why didn't I think of that? Sorry, carry on.
a lot of slug-related correspondence.
That's okay. You know, they're all God's creatures.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is extraordinary. Pretty Fly. Hello, Pretty.
Pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah. I was kissing a girl at night in the woods, and I'm afraid I noticed a slug on her forehead. I say forehead, not forehead. Yeah, that's...
That is... You sure it wasn't an eyebrow?
Liam Gallagher. But if you're in the woods, I can see it could have dropped from a stray slug in a tree.
What do they climb? I don't think of them as tree climbers, do you?
They may
I
not
think of them as
be,
much more of slitherers.
They may not be tree climbers.
Slytherin, that's their house.
Yeah, for sure.
They may not be tree climbers, but Jackie in Hamburg, who's a very hard-working correspondent this morning, says, "Hi, Frank and Co. again. I go geocaching." Are you both familiar with that?
No.
Sounds the sort of thing Alan would know. Alan, before I explain, would you care to enlighten Frank?
It's almost like a mass community kind of treasure hunt where you would put a little like a capsule thing, and people can come along and find it using clues. And it's just out there. I've done it with the children, but I don't really understand it, but they do.
Is it like Pokemon Go for the elderly?
Yeah, I suppose. Or the very young, I guess.
It's sort of little things buried in sort of various locations. It's quite sweet. And I think you provide coordinates for people, don't you?
It's a sort of smaller version of Kit Williams' Golden Hair.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Jackie goes geocaching.
Okay.
And once I was reaching into a hole in a tree. I found the cache. That's the item that was placed there. I pulled it out, and it was absolutely covered in slugs.
Wow. Encrusted.
She says it could have been worse, I suppose. I disagree, but I just share that with you to enlighten you. Slugs in the tree.
Well, it could have been wasps.
Yeah.
That would have been worse. Scorpions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about an ex-boyfriend of mine? I was lying in bed. It's all right.
I don't think he'd be in the tree.
Sunday morning.
Well, we don't know. Let's hear a bit more about him. Could have been me, Tarzan, you, Jane. And if I want a China, I do have a China. So that was something that Benny from Crossroads said when Reg Cottrell questioned him having a takeaway. And he said, if I want a China, I do have a China. Anyway, I don't know.
No, I just said...
Very niche reference.
It was slightly.
I was in bed one Sunday morning, and I would say probably 15 wasps fell onto me.
Oh, fell onto you?
He had a massive nest in his bedroom.
Did he know about it?
Well, he did then.
Yeah, they fell on you.
It was horrible.
I don't like the sound of that. Well, they're abseiling. No, that's horrible. I had that with earwigs when I was camping once. There was the cone of the tent was encrusted. They were just dropping off.
Sickening.
Yeah, they are. Never see any now.
No, they're the 70s creature.
Earwig nostalgia here on Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Alan has rather neatly summarised two of the main topics that people are contacting us about this morning, which is, what did you say, Al?
I can't remember. What did I say?
I can remember. You said slugs and lies.
Oh, slugs and lies. That's a great.
So Andrew G, for example, has got in contact.
Look at me, I'm Andrew G.
Lousy with...
We'll find out what he's lousy with.
Okay. Andrew G, walking home one evening, there were about 30 slugs on the pavement. There were so many...
Wow.
I had to tiptoe around them. Oh, talk.
Oh.
It's making me sick.
Calm down.
It really is. When I looked, they were all coming from different directions, but all heading towards a bus stop.
That seems unlikely that they were using public transport.
Well, they might have been going to a slugfest.
Yeah, they had.
He says who knew where they were going, but I'd probably get the bus if I were a slug. Yeah, but imagine seeing 30 slugs waiting at the bus stop.
How do they get up? They don't put the ramp down for slugs, do they? How would you
get on top of each other for just like the queen slug to get on?
That would be great.
Well, are they like those baddies in Bond films and they just hang onto the wheels?
But they've got to get up there.
How do the slugs get purchase?
Well, that would have been a great texting.
They are good grippers, we know that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, that's a strange tale.
Yeah.
That's like
It's a strange tale.
From an Arthur Machen story.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is.
We've also had a fact in. I don't want it to be just slugs and lies.
I love a fact.
And this one's a new one to me. 906 has texted, "Good morning, Frank. Did you know dash huns are also known as teckles? I'm the proud owner of a teckle called Alfred. I know it's late in the show to bring a new fact in, but did you know that?"
Teckles? No. I thought he was going to say they're also known as hyphen hunts. Because dash and hyphen are... Anyway.
What does teckle actually mean then?
I don't know, but dash huns are called it.
Yeah? bit of slap
Unless I'm
and
being
tackle.
pranked, I don't.
It sounds. It's a very German word, isn't it? Tackle. It sounds like it to me. I like it though. Next time I see one, I see it quite a lot being walked.
Do you see a lot of them?
I'm going to say nice tackle. No, actually, I won't.
that-
I won't say that. I don't think.
Don't say that. Frank, not on Hampstead Heath.
They might think I'm South African. Then they'll be very offended.
Can we say dash means badger? So it means literally badger dog.
Does it
Don't
really?
say that either.
No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say
Just
anything.
don't say anything.
Why don't I just wind up the whole kit and caboodle?
Well, actually, we've had a
Nice
text about that. 614 has
Go on.
asked. Ask Frank, when he says "get out" at the end of the show, is he the demon in the Amityville film? Is it one of your
no.
references? Oh.
No, it's the answer to
I'm
that.
glad we've cleared that up.
I've never seen the Amityville horror, etc. I must say, I don't like horror films because I lie awake at night frightened in the dark. I'm going to be completely upfront about why I don't watch horror films. Much appeals to me about them, but I don't like lying awake frightened at night in the dark.
No.
Okay. Anyway, coming up next is Danielle Perry. I don't have a jingle for Danielle, but she'll have to
You
settle
could sing
for
one.
I'm going to sing it.
Danielle is on the next show. Ooh. I advise you listen to There You Must Go. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening to us this morning, and thanks for your fabulous contribution. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out of Amityville forever.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.